Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm VINIFC, this is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another News Daily video. And before I continue on, I've got something to clarify real quick, and I know you guys saw that intro for the previous video. You guys, I'm sorry man, allow me. It's been a long day. It's super hot working here as well, and to give you guys some insight behind how I record, you know, I do have a bit of a short temper at times. If I make mistakes recording, it does really frustrate me, and a lot of times I tend to swear to release that frustration. I don't know how I just took that L and slipped up at the start. Apologies for that. And I saw the comments as well, so I hope you guys got your laughs as well. But of course, I'm not just releasing this video again just to give you guys a different intro, of course not. I'm going to be giving you guys a completely different story to Declan Rice, because since I released that story, there has been further updates from media and from people I know. And of course, I just can't leave out that Rice story knowing that it's already outdated and it's not correct either. So you guys, before I continue on, it is going to be the same video surrounding Vinicius Junior and the stuff surrounding Chilwell and TAGLIAFICO. That will remain the same as it was in the previous video, and the plugs will remain the same as well. You are going to get an updated Declan Rice story. Before I continue on, let the plugs play out as they did before. So, before I do continue on, you guys, I'm going to get the plugs out of the way first. But the first plug, if you like today's video, then smash that like button. I want to get over 4,000 likes for today's video. Let's see if that can happen. And for the second plug, you guys, my good friends at AA Sport asked me to come in and weigh in, giving my thoughts and opinions on who is the best striker currently in the Premier League.
Harry Kane is not the best striker in the league.
So you've got one game.
He's not the best striker.
You can't compare Tammy Abraham.
Is anyone going to make a case for Harry Kane being the best striker?
Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people would make a case for that.
Now this was another entertaining video. You know, I recommend that you guys watch the full video above. You'll find a link below in the description and in the card above as well to join in on this debate for who you guys feel is the best striker currently in the Premier League. Now I've heard everyone's argument. I've heard Harry Kane, Aubameyang, Aguero. If I had to choose my best striker in this league, I'd have to go for Sergio Aguero. I feel today with modern day football, the quality of strikers mostly depends on how good the team system is. As I'm stressing time and time again, I personally feel like strikers should complement the system they're playing in, but for those very elite strikers, they have that rare ability to create space for themselves time and time again. In Aguero's stats, it's shown that he creates some of the most dribbles for a striker in the league, and most times that's not because he's beating 3 or 4 men and, you know, blasting the ball in the back of the net. It's not like that. Most times it's a close dribble in tight space and tight areas, which he uses to devastating effect time and time again. As Chelsea fans, we've regularly seen him score goals against us, and for that reason too, that's one of the reasons why he just edges it for me compared to your Aubameyang, to Harry Kane's and other strikers in this league. As I'm saying, you guys, if you want to join in this debate, you'll find a full link to the video in the card above and in the description below. Now, to start with this updated Declan Rice story, earlier today, Italian journalist Angelo Mangianti released a tweet saying that we've made a 50 million bid for Declan Rice. Now since then, you guys, there has been further updates from Sky Sports via West Ham, and I've also heard things from trusted sources I know as well. And of course, this story was a lie, it was overzealous, and of course this was not correct information. And before I continue on, you guys, I do want to give you the correct info from the previous video, and that's that West Ham right now are currently struggling financially. I've been telling you guys this for a long time, I've been really stressing this too, and the report released by Kicker was very accurate. At this point in time, West Ham are struggling to pay off the remaining 6 million for Sebastian Haller, and it's quite interesting because at the start of the summer they paid up to 75% of that overall fee, which is crazy. That is a lot of money to pay up front, and of course it seems their gamble works against them because currently West Ham are in a complete shambles. They've got so many overpriced players that don't really fit the team or fit whatever they're trying to play right now. And even though West Ham have actually asked Frankfurt if they can pay the remaining 6 million in smaller installments, Frankfurt have said no, and they've told West Ham that if they don't cough up the rest of the money, they'll go to FIFA and take this matter further. Now, this isn't the only issue that West Ham does have. They're also struggling to pay off the rest of the money for 4 hours as well. So this has been does this imply that Declan Rice will be made available for a lesser fee? I'm not too sure, you guys. From what I'm hearing, it seems that West Ham are more willing to sell other players other than Declan Rice. One player in particular is Felipe Anderson, with West Ham trying for a long time now to sell the player and get him off their books. It seems like West Ham will do everything in their power to keep Declan Rice, and it seems like they are more willing to sell other players like Yarmolenko's and your Andersons over a Declan Rice. Of course though, West Ham don't want to disclose their financial struggles. They are going to be defensive. It is all posturing from that club, but it does make sense that they'll do everything in their power to keep a Declan Rice. He was their player of the season, and of course, to sign a player in that position, which West Ham have struggled in notoriously for many seasons now, would cost them a ton of money. The only thing correct from the previous tweet that came out earlier today is that yes, we do want to play Declan Rice as a centre back who can also play as a DM if need be. Now, from what I'm hearing, any move for Declan Rice will be dependent on us securing Havertz first, and then looking at the money we have left for other targets. It's so funny how my entire tone just changed literally over the past few hours, but that's transfer season for you guys. Things are happening thick and fast, and I guess this leaves us with even more questions. Are West Ham gonna have a possibility to get rid of other squad players first? Will Declan Rice potentially just do what he might have to do and tell the West Ham officials that listen, I want out, I want to go, and risk the potential wrath of West Ham fans? Who knows, you guys, but things could potentially get messy. And I guess the only positive news I can leave things on is that there has been a further Ben Chilwell update. Now, we know that Leicester City made a bid for the new Greek left back that recently signed for Liverpool. They actually made a better offer than Liverpool, but of course Jurgen Klopp spoke to the player and persuaded him to sign for them instead of Leicester City. Now, the fact that Leicester are looking at left backs tells you everything you need to know right now. And from what I'm hearing, you guys, due to the fact that Leicester missed out on UCL football, it seems like they will be forced to have to sell one of their big players. Now, due to missing out on UCL football and due to the current COVID climate, Leicester City will be forced to sell one of their big name players. Now, out of your Ndidis, your Sionchus and your Ben Chilwells, it seems like Leicester are more willing to sell Ben over those other players, and that explains all the recent left back news with Leicester City. So, on a positive, it seems like Ben is a much stronger possibility at this point in time compared to a Declan Rice. But there you have it, you guys, that is the first story out of the way. Now, we move on to the second two stories, and I'm going to start off by speaking about the Vinicius Junior news before I spend more time focusing on Ben Chilwell and Tagliafico. So to start with the second story, news came out from ASD Dario stating that we've shown interest back in November in the possibility of bringing Vinicius Junior to this club. Now, I've always seen Vinicius as the Brazilian Hudson-Odoi. I think their games are quite similar, even their build to, the way they use their pace, the way they play the game, their passing ability in the final third as well. But the reality is, the player has a 630 million release clause and a ridiculous amount of money. To be honest, it's no surprise that news is coming out that Vinicius could potentially leave. Now, this was very obvious when Zidane came out and stated that it's very hard to play him and Hazard in the same team together. The main reason for that, which I think we all know, is that both players aren't great defensively off the ball, and of course in modern day football you need that balance and you need players from the top who are going to press and do their job. Now, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions, and to be honest, in typical big club fashion, in typical Real Madrid fashion, they have all the money to sign any player they want. They've signed Brazil's best young players out there right now, but they have no long-term game plan to use these players or get the best out of them. I understand the appeal of signing for Real Madrid, but for me personally, I've always felt that you sign for Madrid when you've become a complete player and you're ready for the next step up. Madrid don't have any patience for any young players, no matter how amazing your potential is, and it's quite frustrating for Vinicius that right now, he is struggling to get back in the team. He can't really play down the right hand side where Rodrigo is currently playing there for them, and with Hazard being at the club too, it's going to make game time even harder for him to get. Now personally, I don't think we need him. The last thing we need right now is another left winger, especially when they can't really play the same way down the right hand side too. Vinicius would cost a ton of money, he'd be on big wages, and to be honest, if this ever became a thing, it would have to be a loan deal, which personally I don't think would make any sense anyway, and it would cost a ton of money to have a player here for one season that would be fighting for a place to get in the first team. I don't see him coming here, and the only reason why we even entertained and made an inquiry for the player is because back then we never knew how likely it was to sign your Werners, your Havertzes, etc, etc. So on this point, you guys, and I hope you're still staying with me, I'm now going to focus on the latest stories surrounding Tagliafico, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on him and Ben Chilwell as well, so I hope you guys do enjoy. Now, this story was first reported by Sky Sports, and to be honest, you know, it's not like Sky Sports are the same publication that they used to be. I kind of have the impression that they recycle these same stories because, come on, we all know the story behind Tagliafico. This is no new news. And reading the article, they added nothing to the story. And it gets you thinking, why did they even bring this story up in the first place? At this point, it feels like it's a business model to just feed the algorithm, because that's one thing that media does today. That is the one big thing that's happening right now. The article was full of wouldas, couldas, and maybes. And to be honest, you guys, that's that. But the reason why I want to speak about this story is because it allows me to express some thoughts and opinions on him and Ben Chilwell as well. Now, as I told you guys in a previous video, there's still a big possibility that we could sign 2 left backs in this current window. It seems like Emerson is closer to leaving this club, with new reports suggesting that Inter Milan may be close to finalising a move between 15 to 80 million pounds for the player, and also considering the fact that Alonso is nearly 30 years old, he has 2 years left on his current deal as well. As I've said for a long time, this is the prime time to sell both players, because right now, that's the maximum amount of money you can get for both players. Now, moving on to Ben, I've told you guys before that the club were close to agreeing personal terms to sign the player, but agreeing personal terms doesn't necessarily mean that you're close to finalising a move. We know with Leicester City that right now, Ben has signed a deal that has 4 years left remaining in his contract, with his contract expiring in 2024. So basically, this gives Leicester City all the power in the world to dictate their demands and get what they want. And based on their previous history working in the transfer market, they come out on top time and time again. Now, things we're hoping work in our favour to get this deal done is the fact that Ben has told Rodgers that he wants to go, and he's told the Leicester City ball that he wants to go and sign for us as well. Considering that it's the call for the climate too, could Leicester City be willing to budge and release and reduce their demands they want for the player, especially when right now there are so many great left backs available in the market currently? The plan is to not go over 50 million to sign Ben, but my thing is currently, if we were to sign Ben, maybe there's a possibility that Marcos Alonso could remain here. And then it gets me thinking, for next season, is that a big enough upgrade to have Ben and Alonso vying for a spot at left back? I really don't think so. In the case of Marcos Alonso, he's lost his place in this team as the season's gone on, and most times he's played, it's been purely circumstantial. As we've seen in the end of the season, Azpilicueta was playing mainly down as a left back. And my thing is Marcos Alonso good enough competition for a Ben Chilwell? I think personally, when you have a left back like Ben, we have to understand that even though he'll cost a ton of money, we are not signing a finished article. I think Ben has some great attributes in his game, and I think one of the main reasons why Lampard really likes him is that Ben is very good aerially. And we have to consider, you guys, in modern day football, with how teams now focus mainly on keeping their defensive shape and they're so comfortable playing without the ball too, set pieces have become a crucial game plan to get goals. As we've seen this season time and time again, we have suffered mainly from set pieces and weak aerial ability. So this is definitely an area that has to be addressed and taken seriously. So in the case of Ben, who is proven to be statistically very good aerially, winning up to 73% of aerial balls, he could dramatically help us out in this area, as well as providing that impetus going forward, that pace on the left hand side too, and that ability to make late man runs in the final thirds. However, the reality is, and for me personally, I feel like I haven't seen Ben really step up in a big game this season, really just be that standout player, and in the big games he does struggle as well. So I'm just thinking realistically, we couldn't expect Ben to put in a 8 out of 10 performance throughout the entire season. I think that's a bit out of his range at his age right now. But by the time he's maybe 25, 26, he could easily be a top player like that. So for me personally, you guys, I honestly feel that signing Tagliafico as well would be the best thing to do, allowing him and Ben to compete that left back spot. For this left back competition, I personally think this is the best of both worlds. You get your youthfulness and your experience as well. And with Tagliafico, he's proven to be an amazing support left back. He's also great aerially as well, winning up to 2.2 headers per game. You know, when it comes to defending aerial balls, it's not about solely just jumping really high. It's a lot deeper than that. It's about how you use your body. And I think with Ben being 5'8 and Tagliafico being 5'7, I don't think that we can use height as the reason they're good aerially. It comes down to their intelligence. It comes down to their leap as well. It comes down to how they use their body to put off the body balance of the opposition they're going up against. So in that sense, I feel like both players would be a perfect duo to sign, and I'm really hoping that for the price you can get Tagliafico for, around 23 million, and hopefully if that involves maybe going in for Onana as well, we could dramatically reduce the overall fee to sign him and bring him here, because honestly you guys, I do not think that Ben Chilwell throughout the entire season could last. I think as he's proven over the past few seasons, he's going to need some more time to really get to that level. And I do think that over time, he could easily get there, but just not now. And on that point, that's going to be me for today, you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know it's a pretty long video, but I hope you guys really enjoyed today's one. I'm EFC, this is Behind CV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.